Hi guys, and welcome back to my channel. Okay, so today I'm going to be talking to you guys about cracked tops for macarons. Yes, so if you've ever baked macarons and the tops were cracked, yeah, this video is for you. Okay, so I know everybody wants to bake like perfect macarons, and macarons can be very temperamental. So a couple of weeks ago, I baked dozens of them. Like, I wanted to see what could be going wrong, what you can do wrong, what made something turn out how it turned out, so I can make like really comprehensive videos for you guys. So I'm going to have other parts of this video, but the first part we're going to be talking about today are cracked macarons. Yay! Okay, without wasting much of your time, yeah, so this video is going to be divided into like what you should do before like prepping your macarons, what you should do while mixing, what you should do, and then what you should do while baking your macarons so you won't have cracked tops. Okay, so first things first, yeah. So while prepping to make your macarons, before you start mixing at all, the first thing you want to think about is the humidity of your kitchen and your environment. Let's say, for example, you live in the tropics or tropics or subtropics. It means there will be more moisture in the air, and you don't want that in your kitchen. Yes. So what you should do first of all is, before you start prepping, close the windows so that like the humidity from outside doesn't come into your kitchen. And then once the windows are closed, you want to think about like dehumidifying the air, and you can do this in two ways. Number one, you can decide to buy a dehumidifier. They're very cheap, or like you can buy them on Amazon, and there are different sizes. You can buy mini ones, those are enough. You don't have to maybe buy those huge ones. You can buy mini ones, or you can even buy disposable ones. There's some disposable ones you can buy. They're not electric or anything. I don't know how they're made, but like you just leave them open in your kitchen and they dry up the air for you. So if you do not want to buy dehumidifiers, if you don't want to invest in those, but I feel like if you're going to be baking a lot of macarons in the future, maybe you're starting a business, just invest in a dehumidifier to make your life easier and to make your macarons perfect. Okay, so the next thing you want to think about is drying up the air with your air conditioner. Yes. Okay, so your some air conditioners nowadays come with like a dry feature, so you just have to press the button that says like dry air, and it dries up the air. But if you don't have a smart air conditioner like that, if you have the regular ones, you can just turn it up to like 25 degrees centigrade, and it literally dries up the air in your space. That way you can bake your macarons in peace and enjoy perfect macarons. Okay, that's all for before baking. Okay, so guys, for during mixing, what you want to make sure you do first of all is make sure your meringue is well formulated. Yes, make sure like it has stiff peaks and not soft peaks. You want it to be well formulated and stiff and strong. That is what you're looking for. Stiff peaks, yeah, that is what you want. So now your meringue is done. Make sure it has stiff peaks, and then we're going to go to the mixing with the almond flour and everything. Okay, so the next thing you want to do is, when you're mixing with almond flour and when you're mixing your dry ingredients, you don't want to over mix. Yes, so you just want to fold, like you just want to be folding. You don't want to be turning it or be like churning it like it's ice cream or like it's amala. So you just want to mix slightly until it is well combined. You also want to pay attention to, you don't want there to be air bubbles inside. Like you don't want parts of meringue where you didn't mix with the flour, so you want to be very careful with that. And at the same time, you do not want to overmix, because you can easily overmix, and then when your macarons go into the oven, they will crack on the top, and you don't want that. So just mix slightly. This color is what you want when you mix, because it is not well, like you can still kind of see parts of the white, you can still kind of see the bounciness of what the meringue gave the mixture. But if you keep mixing, like you're going to end up over mixing, and then your meringue will like, you would have like beaten down the texture which you want to develop in the oven, and you don't want to do that. So make sure you don't over mix, and make sure you do not under mix, and make sure your meringue, your egg white meringue, is well formulated and everything. So that's all for this one. Okay, so now the next thing you want to think about is your oven a convectional oven or a conventional oven? Because there are different types of ovens. Yeah, so the difference is that in the convectional oven, there are fans, or there is the fan at the back of the oven that kind of like works, and then it distributes air evenly around your oven, and this is the best kind of oven for baking macarons. But in a conventional oven, the heat source is from the top or from the bottom, so, and there is no fan at the back, so like like the heat here might not be so well distributed as in the convectional oven. And if you have a convectional oven, it is best to use a temperature of about 320 degrees Fahrenheit when you're baking macarons for between 12 to 14 minutes. And in this case, the heat in your oven is well distributed, so you can use multiple racks at a time in case you have an industrial oven or anything, so you can, like, that way you get the best kind of macarons. Yeah, and like it will rise evenly and like it won't be burnt or anything. Just take note of what kind of oven. So in the case of if you have a conventional oven where the heat source is from the top or from the bottom, do not worry. What you have to do is to think about, okay, which part of my oven is hotter? And what I advise you to do is when you're baking your macarons, bake one tray at a time and put the tray at the bottom of the middle of the oven. Yeah, and then you should put another tray between the bottom of the oven where the heat source is and your macaron tray. That way, like, the heat is not going directly to your macarons, and you want to bake at a temperature of about 280 Fahrenheit for about 18 to 20 minutes. So whether you have a convection oven or you have a conventional oven, don't be afraid. All you have to think about is the rack position and where the hottest part of your oven. That's all. Okay, so guys, the last and final process during the baking time is the temperature. Yeah, and what you want to do is that before you start baking, preheat your oven to plus 50 degrees Fahrenheit. Like, add 50 degrees Fahrenheit to the temperature you would normally bake at. Yes, for preheating for about 10 minutes. And once you're about to put your macarons in the oven after preheating for that 10 minutes, you should reduce it back to the normal temperature. What it does is that it helps the top of your macarons to develop a firm top with that very high temperature initially. And then towards the end of your baking, like 2 to 3 minutes to the end, open your oven for a minute and let out, did I say a minute? For about maybe 2 to 3 seconds, and let out the steam, because the steam gathers at the top when you're baking, and let out like the hot steamy air out of the oven. That way, like, your oven, it's called venting your oven. That way, like, the oven has like dry air inside, and that way the remaining 2 minutes dries up your macarons. So I hope you enjoyed this video, and maybe you guys understand me. I hope you understand me. Thank you guys, and I will see you in my next tutorial. Bye.